Hey, good morning, and thank you for being here with me today. As you're joining in, I would love to know where you're tuning in from today. Our member base is growing. We couldn't be more excited about it. And it is such a unique moment in time for real estate. And I'm just excited to be here to hopefully impart some information, knowledge, inspiration into you. I believe there's never been a better time than now to be doing what we're doing due to all of the shift and all of the incredible opportunity that we have out there. So where are you tuning in from? How is the market treating you? How are the NAR changes treating you? I know that is definitely something that we're seeing play out, and it seems like there are three types of agents right now. It seems like you got the agents that are a little confused. Maybe they waited till the last minute to learn about these changes. Maybe they waited till the last minute to review their new forms, whatever the case may be. And oftentimes this happens to be the top producers, right? Because they're really busy in the day in, day out, and maybe they kick the can down the line thinking, I got time to learn about these new changes. And then the changes come and they're a little bit confused. So I see that playing out. And then you have the agents that are complaining still. I get it. These changes are very interesting. How do they exactly help the consumer? Who the heck knows? Time will tell. But what I believe is that it does unfairly impact, especially first-time home buyers, those maybe that are in entry level, that sort of thing. But a lot of agents are still complaining about it and still really upset. I was on a panel for NAR just a couple weeks ago talking about the changes, and someone in the audience had raised their hand and was really upset that leadership had allowed these changes to happen. And, I'm thinking, my goodness, this has been ongoing for years. These lawsuits were no surprise. Sure, many didn't think that they would really result into anything, but the one did, and it was a hefty jury verdict, and the settlement was also very hefty, and we are where we are. And you hear a lot of people still complaining about what's happening. I'm seeing lawsuits being filed. There were some realtors in Michigan that filed a lawsuit against NAR alleging antitrust. So will we see other realtors file lawsuits against NAR? Perhaps, but there's still a lot of complainers out there. And while I believe that, they make a lot of very valid arguments and valid points, what I don't believe is that using our energy to complain is really going to help us or change anything. And so what I prefer is the third type of agent, which I'm sure you fall into this category, and that is the confident agent. You look at this as an opportunity, you're seizing on those opportunities, you know how to handle these changes, and you're proceeding forward in your business confidently, knowing that there are people that you need to serve that need your services. And so I'm hoping that you're in that confident segment of agents right now. And as I look at the buckets, what I know is that we've generally attracted the very confident agents here at Zoodealio because what we're bringing to the marketplace is new and unique and different. And anytime you have that early adoption, the people that are going to adopt those early ideas and ways of doing things will generally outperform the rest of the market. We tend to be the innovators, and the laggards will ultimately follow over time. But here we are, and it's definitely an interesting time and space in real estate. I'm going to share my screen. I have some cool data to share with you. And then also, I'm going to go into a few different ways you can be using the cash offer. I've got some resources for you. I have a really cool project to show you. A lot of neat things. If you've been tuning into our coaching calls over the past few weeks, you've probably seen our new home report we have coming out. It is absolutely incredible. So excited about that. If you haven't had a chance yet, tune in to either last week, Elliot did a little overview of it. The week before, I did an overview of it. And we plan to be live with the new home report very soon. I don't want to give an exact date yet. It is very soon. So we're going to be showing more of that, showing more of how you can use that in your business. So stay tuned for that. It's a big undertaking. I think one of the neatest components of the new home report is the AI that is integrated with it. And so as you can imagine, there's been a lot of work that's gone into training the AI. The AI is knowledgeable on that homeowner's home and the details and data about that home. So the robust conversations that a homeowner can have with the AI are pretty amazing. There are also cool prompts so that if someone doesn't think of a cool question to ask the AI, like, hey, if I added an extra $100 to my mortgage every month, how quickly would I pay off my mortgage, or how much sooner would I pay off my mortgage? We're going to supply types of prompts such as that to the homeowner so they can just click it and then see the response. And then, of course, the beauty of all of this is all of that reporting gets sent back to you, so you get to see exactly how people are engaging with your home report. So very excited about that. Just wanted to tease that for a moment because you gotta be in the know. We are already seeing a lot, just based on the 2 times we've showed it, we're already seeing people sign up for Blast. So the new home report will replace Blast. So we are seeing people sign up for Blast in anticipation of that coming out just here in the next few weeks. And the cool thing is that, if you sign up for Blast, you can lock in today's pricing, which is $50 for 500 contacts. If you wait until the new home report comes out, we are increasing pricing on that. It's still extremely reasonable, so no need to rush and take action today if you don't want to. The pricing will be more for that. Just wanted to let you know. And if you are watching a replay of this and have any questions, please feel free to write into support@zoodealio.com and we'll get you taken care of and answer those questions for you. All right. Well, we have some good news in the housing market, and it's been a little icy. And I know not all markets are created equal and all real estate is hyper local. So your micro market may outperform, underperform the national market, et cetera. But in general, as we look at the data on home sales, what we're seeing is there's been a spike in new home sales. And so existing home sales have struggled somewhat. We see that, we know that. But what we do know is that new home sales are higher. As I think through this, it's really interesting because the existing home sales are low, and we're projected this year to do about 3.95 million home sales, which is really low. They're giving 90s vibes because you'd have to go back to 1995 to have a year where home sales were lower at 3.85 million. So home sales are low. And as a result, we're not seeing the amount of transaction count as we once did. What I wonder too is if the NAR rule changes are impacting buyers as well and causing some confusion for buyers. I mean, think about how much time and energy and effort, your brokerage went into sharing the new rule changes with all of their agents, right? Like, I have firsthand seen the efforts and activities that brokerages are taking to train on the new forms, train on, how to talk about compensation and all of that. And yet, here's the consumer buyers, and what are buyers thinking? And I've seen now several posts in forums on Reddit where buyers are confused and buyers are being met with sign this agreement and thinking, whoa, like this is not how real estate is done. And there's been some resistance. And so I believe there's going to be a learning curve for buyers as well, just like there was for agents. And hopefully the learning curve won't be very steep, but will it cause a little bit of a slowdown right now because they're now adapting to this new environment where they have to sign a written agreement with an agent before they tour a home, and they have to be prepared to cover the compensation for their agent. So could that also play into our low home sale count? It's definitely a question worth thinking through. And I think better, it's a question worth answering for your consumers in your database and letting them know what these new changes are, how they work, and ultimately that you are their resource for them if they're considering buying a home. So I would definitely educate your people. I would do that in a variety of ways. I see agents that are doing a fantastic job at this online. They're doing it on their social media channels. I would also take that to your email marketing. If you do any Facebook private messaging, I would definitely carry that forward onto your Facebook private messaging as well, because the more education they receive, I think the smaller that learning curve will be for buyers. But we do know one thing, and what we do know is there is a lot of pent-up seller demand. So transaction count is low, a lot of sellers are locked into really low rates, and because of that, they're not trading up into higher mortgage rates, they're not transacting at the numbers that they were, and the data just shows that. Like, maybe your market's outperforming, great, that's awesome, I'm happy for you. But in general, that's where we stand as far as transaction count. There is also more good news on the horizon, and affordability is improving. So we know that over the past month, rates have came down, and because of that, buyer purchasing power is increasing. And I thought this was a really cool a way to look at it. And if you're educating, your buyers that are in your sphere, in your database, maybe that follow you online, I would definitely use this because it's powerful. So over the past 30 days, buyers have gained $1,000 in purchasing power on average every day, which is phenomenal. So they're able to purchase a little bit more with their money due to rates coming down. And there is also other good news on the horizon. So the Fed is anticipating lowering rates again. The Fed met last week in Wyoming, and the Fed Chair Jerome Powell did come out and say that it is time for the policy to adjust. And what he means is the policy of keeping rates high. So what we know is that a decrease at their next meeting, which is September 18th, is very likely. It's imminent. Now, the big question will be, will it be a 25 basis point cut or will it be a 50 basis point cut? Could it even be a higher cut? We don't know yet. Here's the reality. Rates have come down already. In fact, after Fed Powell talked on Friday, rates came down even a little bit more. Because of that, what we know is that the market is likely already pricing in that 25 basis point cut. And so if we don't see a 50 basis point cut, maybe rates will stay kind of where they're at. If they cut more, then rates may come down, but it's really all going to depend on economic data that comes out over the next few weeks. The really interesting thing, though, to look at is how presidential elections impact the real estate market. And I'm going to breeze through this because I did show this about a month ago, but I think it is really important for us to take a quick look just so we're all on the same page that presidential elections do impact the real estate market. And historically, they've impacted the real estate market in a very similar way. And so one of the things is mortgage rates tend to go down leading up to a presidential election. So in 8 of the last 11 U.S. presidential cycles, mortgage interest rates have come down. There is a seasonal drop in demand during the October-November months. And what we also know is that leading up to a presidential election, that drop in demand is a little bit sharper. And so you can see that in presidential election years, the drop in demand is at about 15%, which seasonally, it's not quite that high. It's at about 9.8%. So uncertainty, right? Uncertainty, I think, is what is to blame for this. People, when they feel uncertain, they tend to stay put, not make a move. You also think through maybe what some of the presidential campaigns are saying that they may do to spur the housing market. So for instance, like the Harris campaign is saying that they will give a $25,000 grant to first-time homebuyers. And if you're a first-time homebuyer and you hear that, maybe in your mind you think, okay, I just won't move now. I'll wait. I'll wait till after the election, and then maybe I can get this grant money. And so there's a lot of uncertainty that happens around the election timeframe, which does cause the market to slow down just a little. So keep that in mind. Here's something else that's pretty interesting. In 9 of the last 11 U.S. presidential election cycles, home sales went up after the election, right? So again, sales are likely to go up again. If you look at history as your guide, the only years that they didn't were 1981 and 1989. Here's something else. Home prices also tend to go up after an election cycle. So I know what you're thinking, how on earth could our prices get even higher? But if you look at history as a guide, and 7 of the last 8 U.S. presidential election cycles, home prices did go up. And new home prices also went up in 10 of the last 11 U.S. presidential cycles. So keep all of this in mind, great information. If you'd like a copy of my slides, always happy to share. Just send me a quick email and I will get them over to you. My email is my first name, Kayla, K-A-L-A, @Zoodealio.com. So happy to share those with you. Or if you're watching this on the replay and you'd like a copy of these slides, just reply back to the email that sent you the replay and we'll make sure we get you those. Let's shift a little bit into sellers because here's the reality. What I know is that representing buyers is changing. What I know is that if we want to control our destiny in real estate, oftentimes that has looked like taking listings. It's looked like working with sellers. You can leverage your time, your energy, your effort so much greater when you're taking listings. I mean, I think back to when I first started my real estate business, and I went through that natural progression of working with a lot of buyers, even working with a lot of renters initially, renters, buyers. That was kind of my gateway into real estate. And then what I really learned was that I could scale and leverage my time if I went and took a lot of listings. And about a year and a half into real estate, I ended up getting pregnant with my son, my firstborn. And so I knew that being a new mom, I needed a way to leverage my time. I needed a way to do both. And so what I did is I really doubled down on listings. And I had a killer expired listing strategy. I was just an absolute vulture on the phone. I would just, connect with these people that had just had their listings expire, and I would just go in and take the listing and rinse and repeat, and amassed a very large listing inventory in a pretty short amount of time. And what I know is that allowed me to do things in life and in business that had I not, had all of the listings, I would have never been able to do. It wouldn't have allowed me to have the freedom to be a mom and also be a businesswoman. And so as you think through shifting your business, as you think through what it would look like, I always say that we have to work with more sellers if we want to grow and scale our business, because working with buyers just doesn't scale at the capacity that taking listings does. And I think that now more than ever, we know that a lot of your peers are also now looking to shift their business and work with more sellers because they want to be able to control that destiny of, taking that listing, getting their compensation set. I also believe, and this is something that a lot of people don't like this belief that I have, but it is my belief. And my belief is that over time, I'm not saying right away, but I do believe that over time, buyers will end up going right to the listing agent. I think that a lot of buyers are online anyway. I mean, there was this poll that was published by 1000 Watt where they surveyed people and asked people, like, how often do you look at homes online? And 54% of people said that they looked at homes online once a week. So they're on Zillow or Realtor.com or Redfin or some other search site once a week looking for homes online. And typically what we know is that a lot of buyers find their house online. A lot of buyers are looking at it online. Even if they're getting it from their agent, maybe from their portal, they're still actively searching for homes themselves online. And I do believe that over time, buyers, especially the ones that may be a little bit short on the ability to pay an agent, I believe that they'll end up going right to the listing agent. And, whether you like that belief or hate it, it's too soon to tell whether that will play out. But I do believe it will be a side effect of what is happening with these compensation changes. And because of that, and apparently a lot of people believe this as well, because we have seen an insane amount of new membership here at Zoodealio over the past 90 days. And what we know is that a lot of realtors are nervous about these changes, and they're looking for a way to hedge their business against the potential impacts of this. And if you're operating a true business, it's a smart thing to be doing, right? Because you have to look at the environment. And if that doesn't happen, great. I would love to be wrong. I would absolutely love to be wrong. If that doesn't happen and you've scaled up your business to work with sellers and that tends to be the majority of your business, would that be so bad? No, that'd be amazing, right? And so I want to just jump back into sharing with you just some insights and some strategies that you can be using to really amplify your seller lead generating efforts, your seller conversion efforts. And I also have some resources to share with you as well that will help you in your endeavors. What we know is that sellers are looking for certainty. They're looking for convenience. They're looking for cash. They want to sell their house quickly. When they do decide they want to list, they want to sell now. And an interesting insight came from the Open Door earnings call just a couple weeks ago. Their CEO, Carrie Wheeler, she said that 1 in 4 sellers, so 25% of sellers in all of their buy boxes, before they sold their house on the MLS, they first got a cash offer from Open Door. So they went onto Open Door and they entered their address into Open Door site. And so this tells us that sellers are seeking out the cash offer solution. We also know that sellers would much rather have an agent guide them through the process when requesting these cash offers. So 72% of sellers said that they would prefer an agent's guidance when considering a cash offer on their home. So they want your insight. They want your help in this. You know, it wasn't too long ago when Opendoor was fined $62 million by the FTC for misleading sellers on the market value of their home. So like imagine you're a seller and you're getting this cash offer from Opendoor, and then you're also relying on Opendoor to tell you what your house is worth on the open market. And that's what a lot of people did. And the FTC said that that was wrong and fined them an enormous fine. And you know, Opendoor has since changed their practices. But the takeaway here is that you're considering this cash offer on your home, it would probably be a good idea to consider an independent value of that cash offer and then also of market conditions, right? And here's something else that is absolutely bananas. Zillow just continues to crush it. They continue to crush it in their space. So in their latest reporting, their founder, Rich Barton, he shared that they have outperformed the residential real estate industry for 8 consecutive quarters. They continue to outperform all of us. And I believe it is because they have the eyeballs, they have the compelling value propositions, and they literally can hook people in, get their contact information, pair them off with the appropriate people and all of that. And then Zillow can sit back and take a slice of all of those commissions and earnings. Great business model. Awesome business model. But for us, we got to look at how they're doing this. How are they capturing this attention? And for sellers, we know exactly what they're doing. It's very open and obvious. Sellers can get a cash offer on Zillow from Opendoor. And so what Zillow is doing is Zillow is taking the phenomena that Carrie Wheeler, the CEO of Opendoor, shared, and that is 1 out of every 4 sellers in their buy box that sells a home on the MLS has first obtained an Opendoor offer. And Zillow is going, that's the starting point. That is the exact starting point. It's the starting of the consideration phase of when that seller is thinking about selling their home. And so we're going to give them that cash offer from Opendoor right on our site, because guess what? Very few percent are going to take that cash offer, but what we're going to have left over is a ton of leads that are highly likely to transact real estate. And of course, Realtor.com is doing the exact same thing. Redfin is doing the exact same thing. All of the big guys are following suit, offering that cash because they know that they're going to get that seller to raise their hand, give up their anonymity, and now they have this lead that's highly likely to transact. So the good news in all of this equation is the amount of sellers that actually accept these cash offers is really super low. It's like 5% or less. And this is definitely market specific, because as we look at our acceptance rates across the US, I can tell you that there are very few markets where it's as high as 5%. It is usually a lot lower. And it also depends on the cash offers. In today's environment where money is more expensive, the cash offer companies have to charge a little bit more because the cost of capital is what the cost of capital is. And so because of that, we know that these acceptance rates are probably much lower today. But that beauty is that the people that don't accept that cash offer, they're very likely to put their house on the market in a very short time frame, 6 months. And we know that this cash offer hook is truly one of the best seller lead generating strategies of all time, because we know who is really excited about the cash offer, and if they're excited about that, that likely means they're going to sell real estate in the near future. We have a super simple success framework that we share here at Zoodealio, and it's probably the simplest framework ever, right? You've heard conversations equal closings. Cash offers create conversations. And those conversations lead to closings. And so I really want you to think about how you can reinvigorate your database, your sphere, the people that follow you on social media. And I have a tool for you that I'm going to show you here in just a moment that you can use. You can implement this today to start bringing these value propositions out into the world so that you can get people to raise their hand looking for those cash offer options. So let's go into 3 really easy ways that you can use the cash offer hook to your advantage in your business. So the first thing, and I'm going to use resources too, and as you'll see as we go through, I have some QR codes that are going to be popping up on the screen. If you missed any of these, like, no worries, we're happy to get you all of these resources as well, and I will link to them in the email that goes out and in the description of the video as well. That way it's really easy for you to grab these goodies and use them in your business. So the first thing that we got to do is we know that transaction count's really low. And so there are definitely types of individuals that will be selling right now. And it's not going to be the typical sellers. It's going to be pared down. It's going to be segments of sellers. It's going to be baby boomers downsizing. It's going to be people that have high debt. It's going to be people that, maybe just had a recent life change. And so the first resource that we have for you that I want to just kind of bubble back up and share with you is a guide on who is selling in today's market. And before I go to that, the scripting on screen is so important. It's super important because most people are curious about the cash offers and they go on to list their home on the open market first. So the good news is, and if I were saying this in the context of working with the seller, this is what I would say. The good news is that if you list with me, we always have that cash offer option to fall back on. And if you're out there and you're using cash offers in your business, I want you to think about how you can use these also as a hedge. This is also a way for you to differentiate yourself. You not only have a unique value proposition, that you are differentiating yourself from the sea of sameness. Like, let's be real, there are a lot of realtors out there. We all offer kind of similar stuff, but this is truly a way for you to differentiate yourself. Not only that, but I'm sure you've got an amazing marketing plan. I'm sure you do some incredible marketing. And I want to take a moment too and give a shout out because I see a lot of the marketing that you do on behalf of the buyers that we work with. So many of the offers in the Zoodealio platform, the agent, you also have the opportunity to relist the home on the open market. And when you do that, I see a lot of the marketing that you're doing. And I'll tell you that you are going above and beyond many of the items that are outlined in that resale marketing agreement. So some of the stuff that the buyers expect is just like standard stuff, right? Like, you got to put it in the MLS. It's got to be in the MLS where near the property's at. It's got to have, professional photos. If 3D scans are a thing in the market, it needs to have that sort of thing. But what we're also seeing is we're seeing things like floor plans, which is absolutely incredible because did you know that 82% of homes with floor plans are more likely to be toured by the buyer in person? So if they're online and it doesn't have a floor plan, you're eliminating people because they can't get a visual layout of that property and they may just skip it and go look at a different one. So we're seeing you include floor plans. We're seeing virtual staging, which, like it or love it, I think that it does provide, especially when you're honest, hey, this is virtually staged. It provides that idea of what the property would look like with furniture in it. And so if you have a vacant property, that virtual staging, I believe, is just super clutch. We're seeing you run targeted ads towards other states and areas where buyers may be moving into your area from. And so I just want to give a quick shout out and say that I love the marketing efforts that you're doing. So keep doing all of those amazing things. But as you're talking with the seller during a listing appointment and you're sharing all of these great things that you do to market the property, the reality is that the buyer pool is a little bit low at the moment. And if the seller has an urgent need and tests the market and doesn't get that offer accepted in the time frame that they were looking for, you have an option for them to fall back on. You have their parachute plan. And I can't stress that enough because I think it's a way for you to differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Here at Zoodealio, we're the first to say that it is not about the cash offer. It is about having that cash offer as an option, exploring optionality, having options to fall back on once you list the home. There are so many fringe benefits of these offerings other than just getting a seller to accept a cash offer. So just wanted to kind of just give that little tidbit first. All right, so here's the resource. It is our guide on who is selling in today's market. If you scan that little QR code, it should pop you right up into this. It's a PDF. You can look at it online. You can download it, but definitely grab it. It is an amazing resource, an amazing guide on who will be transacting. And I believe that there's a ton of pent up seller demand. And because of that, more individuals, more folks are going to be listing their home, and I want you to get those listings. So the next thing that you can really do to take advantage of the cash offer hook in your business is to upgrade all of your outdated messaging, right? Because you might be like messaging for valuations on your home, getting a free CMA, that sort of thing. But I'm going to encourage you to give all of your calls to action a glow up. And so as you go through your business and you look through your prospecting, your lead generating, your marketing efforts, I'm going to encourage you to go through all of those calls to action and upgrade them with a cash offer hook. If you struggle with what to say in any of these particular scenarios, or if you're just curious, what we would recommend that you say, we have another resource for you. It's a scripting resource. And in this booklet, you can again scan the QR code and grab this. In this one, we're going to give you exactly what you can say for all of the different types of messaging that you're putting out into the world and how you can tailor that to the cash offer hook so you can get people to raise their hand, get people excited. Oftentimes, show people what's possible, right? Like, we know all of this stuff is possible, but a lot of times consumers don't. And so you get to be the one that can really be that message to the marketplace and showing them what is possible, maybe even inspiring moves, inspiring conversations about moving, which again, if you create those conversations, ultimately they will lead to closings. Okay, the third thing that you can do, and this one is, is so simple. It's deploy the launch campaign against your database. So this launch campaign, which it's just an email marketing campaign. I'm going to show you it in just a minute. And you can get this from inside Zoodealio. And then on the next slide, you'll also see it. And there's going to be a QR code so you can scan it if you'd like. But this launch campaign enjoys open rates of over 35%. This is very, very high. In fact, one of our integration partners just shared that they deployed this and they're pushing an almost 40% open rate on this campaign, which from email marketing perspective, that's wonderful. That is great open rates. So why is this so important? Well, because this brings in the cash offer hook and all of that messaging, it weaves it right into your business. The neat thing is that if you're working within a CRM such as, let's say, Conversion, or maybe you're in Follow Up Boss, oftentimes this campaign, launch campaign, is already in there for you. So if you're working within a CRM, check your CRM, check the shared library, search Zoodealio. Perhaps you're going to find it in there and it'll make it easier for you to integrate into your business. If it's not in there, no biggie, because we give you all of the resources to put it in your CRM. And that is right here in front of you. It's our launch campaign. It's performed very, very well. If you're looking to reinvigorate your database with fresh cash offer messaging, this is the campaign for you. So scan that code. Definitely don't sleep on this. What we know, and I can tell you, I'm watching it unfold firsthand, is that a ton of your peers are now coming into this. And, some of us, as I look on, I'm not sure who, let me look on today's call. We have Zoodealio members that have been with us since the very beginning. And you guys are engaged and you're plugged in and you're the leaders in your marketplace. And I'm telling you, the others are coming and they're looking to shift their business. So don't sleep on this. Implement this. Put it into your business. See what happens. I want to end today's call by showing you what is possible, what you can bring to homeowners. If you're working with a seller and their home needs a little bit of love, or they're a hoarder house, or maybe it's just outdated. It's a beautiful home in a beautiful area, but it's just a little bit outdated. I'm thinking about one that we're doing right now in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's a gorgeous home, like $1 million home, but it's just outdated for the neighborhood. And so, going in and making repairs and doing a refresh is absolutely going to help that home sell for a lot more money. So this house is a house in Litchfield Park, Arizona. And I'm going to kind of just breeze through some of the befores and show you how the home transitioned after the buyer went in, did new paint, did landscaping cleanup, that sort of thing, made the house look great, enhanced that curb appeal from what it was. I mean, before the backyard was very overgrown, very messy, as you can imagine. If this person were to bring their home to market, they'd need to do a lot of work. And a lot of people just don't have the time, the energy, the resources to do this on their own. They're feeling very overwhelmed with the state of things. And so by you having a different solution for them, it can really alleviate a lot of stress. And so the befores, just a house, a backyard, little backyard, but just needed a little bit of work, just needed a little bit of cleanup, and then it looked so much better. Inside was just kind of tired, a little bit, just a little dingy, that sort of thing. And then after, it looked so much better. Again, the before, just a little tired. We have like different color cabinets going on, some painted countertops, which are just lovely, let me tell you. And so as you can see here, after the buyer goes in and does their thing, it just really enhances that home and makes it shine, especially in today's market. What I'm seeing is that it's both things. It's usually a beauty contest and a pricing war. So that's what we're seeing in a lot of markets is buyers want a great deal, and they also want the home to be in tip-top shape. So again, just, going in and doing some refresh, new countertops, new sinks, new toilets, that sort of thing. It just makes such a big difference. And for somebody that is coming into the market, paying the prices that prices are today, they really expect these things. They want to see these houses shine, and they want to be able to move right on in, not have to worry about investing more money into that home right after they purchase it. So here was that one we just did in Litchfield Park, and I just wanted to share the financial details with you because it's pretty incredible. So this one, the as-is value on that home was a begging $245. In fact, my underwriters were showing me comps, and they were actually arguing that it should have been even lower than $245. So the resale price on this home was $415. That is a $170,000 value increase. The repair costs on this home were $59,775, and the program fee, which is 6% of that resale price, was $24,900. So the seller on this property, after paying for the repairs, after paying for the program fee to participate in this program, made an extra $83,000. This is pretty incredible. And I just wanted to share this with you because this is playing out again and again across markets, across the US. And what's playing out is that when you show people what's possible, really beautiful things can happen. So I wanted to show you that wonderful example of a home where we were able to go in, refresh that home, make it beautiful and move in ready for the next buyer, and really return a fat check back to that seller. Really cool. I love it. Absolutely love those success stories. So just wanted to share with you and just wanted to say thank you for being a part of the Zoodealio network. We appreciate you. We have some really cool things that we're rolling out for you. As I mentioned, our home report will be out in just a short while. I'm trying so hard not to give the date on it. We do have a go live date. It does look like we are going to hit that date. We couldn't be more excited about it. Can't wait to share it more with you. Probably on my next call, we'll be doing a deep dive into the home report. And of course, please, if you need anything, if we can serve and support you in your business, please reach out to us. We're here to help. Appreciate you all and have a wonderful week. Happy selling.